People who start early, people who care and inspire each other to do things the way they should be done. This way uses technology and goes the extra mile to deliver your promises on time, every time. This way is why we're the #1 national LTL carrier for quality. For us, this way is the right way, which is why it's the only way we go.
There's your biggie bag. All that food for $5, right? That's my go-to.
Ooh, that's my ride or die.
Just like you and me. Bag boys. Bag boys, what you gonna do? What you gonna do when we bring your food?
Go biggie and get all this with the JBC for just $5.
I bought the team.
Kevin?
I put it on my Chase Freedom Unlimited card. And I'm a cash back on a few other things, too. Starting with the sound system. That's cash! Cash back like a pro. With Chase Freedom Unlimited, how do you cash back?
Pause for the facts. She's shopping for a used car, but she doesn't know that nearly half of them have been in an accident. Luckily, Carfax shows how accidents impact price, so she doesn't have to overpay. Unpause.
Whoa, whoa.
This is cool.
Shop the all-new Carfax.com.
They say you're better safe than sorry. But they say a lot of things. In 1953, they said our whiskey recipe tasted perfectly fine, so we burned it and made something better. Maker's Mark. Make your mark.
Twix is too good. Cookie inside a candy bar? It's like a cookie in disguise.
Imagine one of our gangs in disguise. I'd snap him.
There's more to a Twix.
Oh, I love it and I hate it at the same time.
Acqua di Gio Parfum, deeply intense, Giorgio Armani. At Macy's, the fragrance destination.
Riley, how was camp?
It was good.
She goes away for 3 days and all we get is good?
She goes away for 3 days and all we get is good?
Yeah, sounds right. Back to the game. Disney and Pixar's Inside Out 2.
Can somebody pinch me?
Ow! Thank you!
Rated PG, now playing only in theaters.
Get Up is brought to you by Old Dominion Freight Line, helping the world keep promises. All right, our next game is More or Less. It's brought to you by ESPN Bet. They set the prop lines for tonight. And let's go at him here. So we're talking about Luka. Allen, his number is 32.5 points. More or less tonight?
I'm going more. He's got the whole world watching him in this game to see what he's going to deliver. He's at home. It's got to be more. He's got to have an epic Luka performance as best he can on that knee and those ribs obviously bothering him.
How about his running mate Kyrie, Monica? Let's go to him. Kyrie Irving, the number is 24.5. You go more or less?
I'm going more, Greeny, but not by much. I think Kyrie understands the moment. He actually played well in Game 3 and gave this Mavs squad what they needed in terms of trying to get that win. I think he has enough pride, and this organization does, that he'll put his best foot forward.
Yeah, he was having a big night the other night. Allen, how about Jason Tatum? 27.5 is the number for him.
I'm going to go less only because I don't think they need it. You know, it's not something that he has to do. I think for him, stay within the game plan because this is a team win. When they win this championship, it won't be about one or two players. It's going to be about how the team plays. And he has been really good staying within, I know it's cliche, but just playing within the game, staying within the flow.
All right. And then with regard to Tatum, there have been so many questions about him for such an incredibly long time. And there was the conversation about, well, is he the MVP? Does he need to win the MVP? This is what he said to Bleacher Report on his goal in these finals. He said, finals MVP or whatever, a champion is a champion. That's the goal I want for my teammates, what I want for myself. I want everybody to shine. There's enough attention for all of us, and so I want everybody to give us theirs. Before I tell you what I think of this, Wendy, I think he's sort of adapting the line you've been using for a very long time, and I'll let you use it again here because I think it is the perfect way to sum this up.
He's starting to beat his chest, and I am ready to receive it because when you are a champion, when you win a championship, it means never having to say you're sorry. Whatever led you to that, whatever failures you had, whatever setbacks, whatever criticism you've taken, you can shut it all down because to stand on that stage and to hold that trophy and to put up that banner and to be in that parade means that you have overcome so much. It is so hard. One of the biggest things I've learned in 20-plus years covering the NBA is how hard it is to win a championship. And so when you get to that mountaintop, it blocks everything else out. And he is on the verge of it, and he's beginning to start doing that, and I am here to allow him to do it.
Absolutely. And he and his running mate, Jaylen Brown. And here's, Hembo and I were going over this on the radio yesterday, and there has been over the years so much conversation. Is it Tatum's team? Is it Brown's team? Does one get too much credit? Does the other one not get enough? And all of that. And what I think there was a time when that may have legitimately been an issue. Maybe it was something the two of them needed to work through together. But what I think has become clear as you watch this team now is that they have found themselves in a very rare place. They are a team with two superstars, and neither one of them is Robin. And again, I say that with all due respect to Robin, who I consider a superhero, but they have two Batmen, or Batman and Superman, or whatever analogy you want to make to it. They are both that, and that is a pretty rare situation in the NBA. Usually there's a very clear-cut number one and a very clear-cut number two. I think the fact that they have found a place where they are both comfortable in their roles as sort of co-number ones, not only is the reason that they are one win away from a championship, but quite frankly, in a league where dynamic duos are going to be the way, there aren't going to be any more big threes, I say watch out. These guys are young. They're about to be signed. They have an organization that knows how to put good players around them. Brad Stevens, many people have said, is the most valuable person here. I don't know if this is a dynastic era for basketball. I don't know exactly what a dynasty would mean. I don't know that they're going to win 4 championships in the next 6 years. But I think they are, until further notice, the team to beat as every season starts for the foreseeable future. What do you think of that?
Have two stars of that age, absolutely. And you are building from that going forward, especially when they're in the Eastern Conference. If they were in the West, maybe you could argue there's other teams on the rise. But in the East, you know, I've got coaches text me like, watching this game the other night saying, good luck building a team to take this team on the next couple of years because they have found it. Whatever they were figuring out 2 years ago and last year, they have found it. That Brown and Tatum thing has become a yin and a yang. That's what it's become, and they have fit into each other really well. A lot of times we talk about superstars, and superstars are box office. You are paying a ticket to go watch that guy play. I'm not sure either guy is a true superstar that I'm going to pay a ticket to watch them play, but they make a team that is box office that you want to watch play. That's what makes them special, what they've become kind of together.
CJ, you've been around a long time. In most cases, there's a superstar, it's someone's team, and they build everything else around that. I think they have finally found a place, this is just my observation, where it's now being built around the two of them. They both seem to be perfectly good with that. And that's going to make them incredibly dangerous.
Yeah, I think they've matured a lot since they first got into the league. Obviously, Jaylen Brown talked about how the front office came to him and told him about their plans to draft Jason Tatum. He obviously had to sign off on that. I think they would have drafted him anyway, let's be honest. Jason Tatum's a great player, but they've continued to get along together. They've struggled together. They've had some not-so-great performances and big moments together, and now they're having terrific performances down the stretch of games, showing leadership, showing composure, showing selflessness. One of the key points in that game the other night was how Jaylen Brown had the ball. He waved Jason Tatum to the corner. How many guys average 30 points per game and be cool with just chilling in the corner? Waved him to the corner and said, I got this. I got the matchup that I like. I get the screen, I get the switch, pump fake, I take a tough two. I'm sure Joe Mazzulla was shaking his head because he loves three-pointers. Then he knocked it down. That shows you the greatness in their ability to kind of let the other one go. They don't need to be quote-unquote star, quote-unquote my team.
It's trust, right?
They both make $300 million a year. Who cares?
I think we're good. You know what else, too? At the end of the game was also fitting. That moment the two of them got together center court, that was also them acknowledging each other. Look at what we've been through, and now we're on the verge of finally winning a title.
Yeah, the word was graduate. Whitney said that the word that they used in the huddle was it's time to graduate. And, you know, they all they need to do is walk across the stage one time, and it could be tonight, and they get it. Monica, how about it? As you assess the landscape of the league, I think going forward, the Celtics are the team to beat for the foreseeable future.
It makes me wonder, Greeny, why we do this to ourselves, right? Like, why could we not say this Celtics squad, as much promise as they have, they are young? Why could we not look and see, all right, 27, 28 is the age where guys seem to start to really hit their stride if we look at the last few champions in this league, right? Like, it took us as long as it has taken the Celtics to appreciate the journey of it all, right? But they are now currently here, and I don't think that this team becomes who they are in terms of the intangible things that we're talking about. Trust, even Joe Mazzulla's growth, like, the path, everything they've been through, they had to experience to get to this moment. And I know that's not the way sports work in terms of looking at it from a macro perspective and appreciating it, but everything they have is exactly what the Mavs don't. And we see how that's playing out in real time in this series.
No, that's fair. Look, and that's a bigger picture conversation, because there have been a lot of people who were in the situation they were in over the last couple of years and never get to the top of the mountain. And that's the difference here. There's a lot more to say about that, and we will as we continue. In the meantime, I've got a green list for you today. This is a list that the Celtics are looking to join. I will give you the 5 most dominant playoff runs in NBA history. Where would Boston rank on that list if they should finish a sweep tonight? Plus, much more on Luka. What exactly does he need tonight to save his reputation, to save his team's season? What exactly can he give Kyrie Irving tonight? All that on the way. We're getting up with you on ESPN.
Have you had your Hershey's?
I'm out here telling people how they can save money with Experian.
With Experian, you can see your recurring subscriptions.
And with one click, you can cancel it.
I'd like that.
It's so easy, I think even Asher can do it.
That's amazing. Thanks, bud.
Get started now with the Experian app.
Give me that ooey gooey, crispy, crunchy, mouth watering. Give me that beefy, meaty, grilly, dilly, pickle popping. Give me that burger sauce and toss and Papa John's. Better get you some cheesy burger pizza at Papa John's.
Organic soil from Miracle Grow has grown me the best garden I have ever had.
Good soil and you get good results.
Look at that.
The broccoli was fantastic.
That broccoli, I think some of them were 6-7 pounds.
Ally helps you save for the things you dream about faster. We can automatically scan your spending to find you savings. Whatever you're saving for, we're all better off with an Ally.
Liberty Mutual customized my car insurance, and I saved hundreds. With all the money I saved, thought I'd buy stilts. Hi, honey. Hey. Oh, look, no line at the hot dog stand.
Yes.
Only pay for what you need.
Liberty, 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 liberty. To 50 years with my best friend.
Quick, the quicker picker-upper. Bounty absorbs spills like a sponge and is 2 times more absorbent, so you can use less. Bounty, the quicker picker-upper.
Arby's Deluxe Burger. Have you ever seen such a well-crafted burger? Oh, Arby's Big Cheesy Bacon Burger. Have you ever seen such a... Arby's, we have the meats.
Oh, Bud Light Genie? Wishes? Hit me. Make me tall. Easy. I wish aliens were real. Be nice.
That's an alien.
Hang with Dustin Poirier.
You started without me.
You thinking what I'm thinking?
Let's go. What do you bench? Cool. You and I should get in there. Is that funny?
Welcome to the NBA's grandest stage.
When the situation gets real,
Kyrie chaos here in the first half.
the real one's gonna show up.
It's a Celtics tsunami here in the second half.
Everything you ever hoped and dreamed for, hanging in the balance.
Celtics are 1 win away from an NBA title.
Tip it off, set it off. The NBA Finals, Game 4 on ABC.
It's lunchtime, and Gary is double booked. Good thing Gary's company uses Otter's AI meeting assistant to take notes and generate a summary. So Gary doesn't miss a meeting and can regain his lunch break. Try now for free. Visit otter.ai or download the app.
Introducing Mando, the whole body deodorant that I created with all body odor in mind. I'm Dr. Shannon Klingman, and I'm the inventor of whole body deodorant. It's like body odor never even happens, and you're gonna be exceptionally stink-free and smell as good as humanly possible.
This is the story of the one who believes being prepared is not just a way of life, it's how he helps everyone stay safe. He sweats the small stuff before it becomes big stuff. For the one, being an unsung hero in a building full of everyday heroes is just how he likes it. The industrial-grade products you need delivered fast. Call, click Grainger.com or stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Back on Get Up, approaching the bottom of the hour. Game 4 NBA Finals on tap tonight on ABC. Let's fill in some blanks. So, Monica, let's start with Jason Tatum, we were talking about him a moment ago. He has proven what in the finals?
That the journey is just as important as the destination, Greeny. It has taken another opportunity in the finals. It has taken 5 total conference finals, and finally, the Celtics are on the brink of success. They've had to learn, they've had to grow, but they are here.
Yeah, sort of a traditional pattern in the old school of the NBA. How about his running mate, Jaylen Brown? Alan, fill in the blank. Jaylen Brown has proven what in the finals?
In your words, he is more than just a Robin. He is not a 1B. He's not a number 2. He's not a supporting cast player. He is an equal star, and that's what the Celtics have, and he has proven that once again on the biggest stage, because remember 2 years ago, he was their best player in the NBA Finals as well.
Once again, I'm not here for the slander of the boy wonder. Robin is an outstanding superhero character as well, but for the purposes of the discussion, I understand. Meanwhile, CJ, let's end with the Mavericks. Luka Doncic has proven what in these NBA Finals?
He's a great player, and regardless if he improves his defense or not, he will still be a great player. But I think we're holding him to a high standard because we expect him to be an MVP. 35, 10, and 9. He shows the athleticism. He shows the quickness on offense. We just want him to get the most out of his talent in his career, which would lead to a potential title.
Absolutely. A championship, an MVP, all those things feel possible. Something I didn't get to at the beginning of the show that I thought was really interesting, and I want to make sure you hear it. Kyrie Irving was having himself a huge night in Game 3, had himself a huge night, and unfortunately came up short. And yesterday, all the conversation was about his teammate, Luka Doncic. And Stephen A. was making that point yesterday.
I don't think people are speaking enough about how Luka messed up the game for Kyrie. I know Kyrie had a great game. It could have been even greater at times if Luka had just recognized, look, this is not my night. Things ain't going the way they customarily go, but it is for him. Just like it was going for me in the first couple of games, it's going for him tonight. Let me get him the ball and move out this brother's way because he's doing some special things right now. And I thought that Luka missed the boat on that.
Now, that's a really interesting thought. It takes everything kind of in a different direction. Wendy, let me just start with you because you're there, you're in the building, the dynamic of that. Stephen A. is basically saying this could have been the Kyrie game, and instead it became the Luka game. What did you think of that?
I think, let me just take a little step back and say that I think overall the Mavericks offense is dysfunctional right now. And not because largely of their own issues, but because Boston is really giving them all kinds of problems. They have yet to crack 100 points a game in this series. They didn't have 3 games in a row all season where they didn't score over 100. I think they only had 2 in a row once. This is an offense that's used to dominating. It's used to that 1-2 punch. And so I think they're just searching a little bit. And one of the big things where we're seeing this is they're not moving the ball. They're dribbling the air out of it. I think they're averaging 5 dribbles per touch, which is just crazy. It's almost twice as much as actually more than twice as much as the Celtics are averaging. So I think in general, the offense is frozen up and not moving well. If you want to point your finger at Luka, I guess you can, but I think it's a team-wide issue.
Monica, how about it? The idea here, like sometimes these games get names, right? This will always be remembered as this game, as that game. That had a chance to be the Kyrie game. The way he was playing after the struggles he had in Boston, if they win that game, all we're talking about is Kyrie Irving bouncing back, leading his team to a win. Instead, that was barely even mentioned yesterday. That's at least part of how I interpreted what Steve is saying. What do you think, Monica?
I think that's a fair assessment, right? But again, it ultimately goes back to an understanding for Luka that heavy is the head that wears the crown. And guys, despite all of this, like the Mavs still pushed and made this thing interesting down the stretch, right? And so you think sitting back, well, there's a few plays here or there that go differently. Do they have a chance to protect home court in Game 3? And so ultimately, I think Kyrie fully understands that he is in a support role to Luka Doncic, right? And so to CJ's point earlier, it's less about the basketball part of it and more about the antics, and that has bled over to us skipping over what was a really strong performance by Kyrie Irving. But ultimately, the win column is all that matters.
CJ, the way Stephen A. phrased that, I'm just interested because you've been on the court. I'm just thinking about, we got or Dame or someone like that. Like, is there a night when you're a great player like Dame Lillard, you're accustomed to being, that guy. Yeah. Are there nights when he might say, as Stephen A. said, you know what? It's his night. It's not my night. I'm going to take a back seat here on the offense tonight because he's got it cooking. Like, is that Take me through how that dynamic on the court actually works.
Yeah, you continue to grow and evolve as your relationship grows and evolves, and as you get more experience and you get more comfortable having that dialogue. As Dame and I got to year 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, we were more comfortable saying, yo, let me have this one. Coach would drop an ATO. I might have scored 3, 4 in a row. He's looking like, nah, draw it for CJ. Coach might drop an ATO for me. I might look at him and say, nah, Dame's been killing, give him the ball. But that's the dialogue that you have to have with each other. The coach's job is to coach, but you're out there on the floor, so you have to be able to talk to each other about it. Hey, I got to go and I like my matchup, whatever the case may be. This is only year 2 for them, so they're still figuring it out. The last thing I'll say is Game 7 against the Denver Nuggets. I took the last shot. Coach was about to draw up the play for Dame. Dame looked at me and was like, you want the ball, right? I said, hell yeah, I want the ball. So we flattened it out. We scrapped the play. But that's the dialogue and the comfort that you have to have. And your star player has to be comfortable sometimes doing a Jason Tatum, doing a Kevin Durant, or a Steph Curry, where you defer to your teammate in the moment because the ultimate goal is to win a championship. And that's what we did.
What do you think?
But we did win a championship.
But that's the trust thing that you're talking about, though, right? And that does take time. Remember in Game 1 against the Pacers, Tatum was the decoy. It was Brown who got the shot in the corner, right? And that's Tatum knowing that, but that's where you have to get to. But we have seen throughout the playoffs how Luka has talked about Kyrie in irreverence, how much he has appreciated him as a teammate. So I don't know if we're really, seeing a selfishness in Luka about wanting the ball and not wanting Kyrie to shine. I think for Luka, he has just been in this place right now where he's been locked up by this defense, and he's been frustrated by this defense. His shots are short. That's probably the knee. I'm sure it's the ribs. There's probably a lot of things going on with him right now. So I don't know if a lot of this stuff is conscious what's happening. But I'll tell you what, for Kyrie, he needed this game. This was important for him. Now, he left the crucible of Boston where he had 28 points in 2 games, and he goes for 35 in 1 game at home. That says a lot about where he was in his headspace, a Monica McNutt word, that he was when he was in Boston. He goes home a lot more comfortable, and that's good. He also showed a 5 to those fans in Boston and let them know, I'll be back. I'll see you in Game 5. So while this was an important game for Kyrie, it continues to be important for him to force a Game 5, win this game tonight, so he can see those Boston fans again and maybe finally slay the dragon there.
We'll see. If there is a Game 5, it'll be Monday night on ABC. I can see everyone has a lot to say. I got one more thing I have to get in here. We'll come back to this. We'll come back to all of this. But this weekend could be a very big weekend. J.J. Redick is going to formally interview for the Lakers head coaching job this weekend. He could join a long list of first-time head coaches that LeBron James has had over the years. What you're seeing here is video of this podcast that J.J. and LeBron James have been doing for a while. It's extremely good. It's it's an outstanding podcast, but it also contributes to why the dynamic of this would be so unusual. According to Woj, a strong performance by J.J. this weekend would be expected to move him to the forefront of the franchise's search. Wendy, you're there in Dallas, which is the epicenter of all basketball conversation right now. What are you hearing?
Yeah, so I have no doubt that JJ is going to have a strong performance because he's been preparing for this for a long time. I think the question that's being asked here is, how much should JJ really want this job? And that's one of the reasons why I think there's people in his life. In fact, I know there's people in his life who have said, are you sure this is the opportunity you want, that this is what you want to leave for, because this is such a challenging job? But head coach of the Lakers is one of the 4 or 5 most desirable coaching jobs in all of sports. You're talking about head coach of the Dallas Cowboys, manager of the Yankees, manager of Real Madrid. Like the Lakers are on that list. But JJ's got to hear from their franchise, from Rob Pelinka, what their intentions are. How do they see life after LeBron James? How are they going to spend with these aprons in this new environment? What are their plans for their roster in this offseason? What can they do to help increase from their 7th place finish? This isn't just a one-way interview. J.J. Redick has a great job. He has a great future. He could wait for 3 or 4 more head coaching opportunities in the next year or 2. But that's one of the big things that is going to come out of the conversations over the weekend, I would expect.
Monica, what do you think?
This is fascinating. I mean, you use the word, Greeny. I think if J.J. Redick believes that he is the guy that can move this organization in the right direction, then he's going to do it. Like, past success is an indicator of future success. That's our colleague. We all know he's a diligent worker and a brilliant basketball mind. I continue to say that, like, ultimately, the expectation is way higher than the realistic, achievable standards in my mind.
What do you think, Alan?
I think that the